Hey, what's up, guys? Richard Metal Fan here, bringing you guys a new 2017 album review. And as you can see below the title, we're going to be looking into the new album from Overkill, set to be released, well, today, through Nuclear Blast Records. Now, this is the band's 18th full-length album, and this is the follow-up to 2014's White Devil Armory, which for me is a really good album, but then again, I pretty much enjoy everything that Overkill has done. And these guys formed in 1980 in New Jersey. And in my honest opinion, Overkill for me are pretty much, in my opinion, like the most underrated thrash metal band of all time. And some people would probably put like Exodus and Testament there, but I think Overkill is kind of like under those two I mentioned. And I think they're the most influential thrash metal band of all time, if I have to say so myself, especially in the 80s. And like I said, this new album is the follow-up to White Devil Armory. But the question to ask, does this album exceed expectations, or if this album is good as or better as White Devil Armory, if I ask. In my honest opinion, I think it fucking has. I mean, Overkill for me is a band like they're always really consistent. Like, we're talking about their 18th album, putting out albums since Feel the Fire in 1985. And one thing to note is, like, age has not affected this band whatsoever. I mean, no matter how old they get, they just never fail to deliver the goods. The production on this album is really great. Like, everything is where it needs to be. And the guitar work on this album is really good. I mean, Derek Taylor and Dave Linz come up with some really great riffs. They're just the typical thrash riffs, just all punches you in the face, just really crisp, some really great leads. The drum work on this album is really good. I mean, Ron Nicky's drumming is really spot on, basically good as like previous Overkill drummers like Sid Falk and Rat Skates. The bass playing, I mean, Dee Dee Verney's bass is pretty audible on this album as well as on other Overkill albums. So you could definitely hear the bass a lot in the mix. And last but certainly not least, we get to the vocal work from Bobby Blitz Ellsworth. Oh my god, this guy is 58 years old, well, almost 58, and he basically still sounds exactly the same as he did in like the 80s. He still has like that same voice. I mean, he's done some smoking a lot, and I'm surprised that he still basically sounds good after all these years. And he just sounds really good on this album. But without further ado, let's dive into this album track by track. Now, the album opens up with the song Mean Green Killing Machine, which starts off with a little bit drum intro, and then after a little bit, minute or so, it goes right into it. I think it's a perfect way to start this album. Start off with a little intro, and then boom, there we go. And then we go into Goddamn Trouble, which rolls in right with a punch, plenty of swing to it, and a really good energetic song. Our Finest Hour reminds me a little bit of old Overkill, something from like Years of Decay, Under the Influence, taking over, has that 80s feel to it. But then again, Overkill are from the 80s. But yeah, moving on to Shine On, has more of a chugging riff in there with a little bit of a modern twist in there. Really good persistent track. Love this song. The Long Road starts off with a really great opening solo, and then after that it just goes into a pummeling groove. And I just think that's really fucking just sick. And then we go into Let's All Go to Hades, which kind of, musically it sounds a little bit of a punky with a little bit of new wave of British heavy metal feel to it. Kind of like Iron Maiden, Killers era, which I think it's really good. And Come Heavy, just a very mid-tempo song, kind of really great rumbling groove to it. And then we go into Red, White, and Blue, very up-tempo, it just punches you right in the throat, and it has a little bit of a hardcore edge to it, which I think is pretty sick. Then we go into The Wheel, which kind of gets thrashy, and it sort of has a little bit of a ferocity to it. And then we go into the last song on the album, which is The Grinding Wheel, which I think it's interesting how the previous song was called The Wheel, and then the next song is called The Grinding Wheel. I just thought it's kind of silly to me. But anyway, The Grinding Wheel has a little bit of a slower feel to it, but with a little bit of a dramatic vibe to it, and I think it's a pretty interesting way to end this album. Now, overall, The Grinding Wheel by Overkill is a really great album. I mean, this band just never fails to deliver it. Been around for 35 years, and they still kick ass to this day. If I were to give this album a score, I'd probably give this a solid 9.5 out of 10. I think it's probably going to be tied with Album of the Year along with like The New Creator. I mean, this band just can do no wrong. So yeah, that's my review of the new Overkill, guys. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of the new album, and I'll see you all in the next video, and keep it metal.